Okay, I want to start with decorating the first layer page that we've created for our folio. I think I've showed it before, but I'm using a collection from Simple Stories called The Simple Life. I don't know if that ever happens to you, but it happened to me that, and I have it a little bit with this collection, that I see a collection online and I must have it. I just keep an eye out for it to release, and as soon as it releases I order it. And then it comes to my house and then I'm a little underwhelmed, or in this case with this collection I still liked it and now I want to work with it and I just don't know. But I hope that once I get started on it, it will grow on me again. So because there are some really nice things in this collection, but I don't know, maybe I just missed certain elements that I would like to have, or I'm afraid that I'm a little short on something, I'm not sure, but we'll see how it goes. I selected 3 pages from the 6x8 paper pad. I also have the 12x12, but I want to try to use that really in places where I cannot get away with using the 6x8. I kind of designed it in the measurements to really be able to work with 6x8 or 8x8 paper packs, this folio, with a 1/16 inch border. Now I'm going to start here on this part where we can flip that open. Now this is a little bit too large for 6x8, so I want to combine 2 patterns there, and I want to start with this butterfly pattern. And what I'm actually thinking is I'm going to place it here. I'm going to do a 1/2 inch frame with the wood grain, and I think that I'm going to cut it out, or I'm going to cut strips, I'm not sure yet. And then I have this black background, it's the background, the back side of this pattern with some green in it. I think this will combine nicely. My other option is, and I just cannot make up my mind, and normally when I'm not filming, that's okay, I can just come back to it as often as I want, right? But this green instead of that black would be a good option. We also have this black pattern, but I find that's coming too close to solid together with this, but I think I'm gonna go for this. I'm just gonna go and we'll see where we end up. So I was thinking I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch strip of this black pattern. Let's just start with it. You know what it is often with decorating and making decisions, if you're anything like me, it's making that first cut and just get started. And once you did that, you're on your way, right? So now I do know that these papers in the 6x8 paper pack from Simple Stories are not always nice straight papers, but that also goes for a lot of the 12x12 papers, by the way. So not just from Simple Stories, I mean like from any brand. So that would go there, and I want to do it in the same width as the frame, so that kind of goes together. And then we have a little bit of a wider part of that black pattern here. And now that I'm seeing this, I'm like, I'm missing a little punch of something. That might give me that punch. Yeah, I feel like I need to go with the green. So hopefully I can use this somewhere else. That would be okay. So I'm going to use some black ink to ink the edges. And I might just edit the video a little bit, right? Because I don't want this to be a too long part of the video, or I'm not sure if I'm going to do this like construction and then decorating behind it, or that I am making that into a separate video. It depends on how much how much video I have, like the length of the videos. So that would go there. Now for this, so I want to have that wood grain here and here. And I might use that green on the part on the front again. Yes, I'm just going to cut 1/2 inch strips from the top. I want to be a little bit more frugal with this paper because I already know that I want to use it quite a lot. So 1/2 inch strips. And then the long ones need to be 5 1/8 of an inch, if I'm correct. So I'm going for a 1/16 inch border, right? So I'm cutting everything 1/8 of an inch smaller than the actual part that it's going on. So this wood grain is the back of this card if you're using the same paper collection, because there are 2 different wood grains in that 6x8 paper pack. This is a little bit more of a grayish wood grain, and the other one is more of a white, yeah, more white. I'm just gluing this one down because I'm pretty set on having this here. And I hope the lighting is somewhat okay, because like I said, I'm working with studio lights. It gives me a better lighting, but I am trying to figure out what my best setup is. Yeah, but I'm happy with the light it gives me. It's just hard to work around creating shadow and all that, and I think proper lighting is the hardest part of making a quality video for me. Okay, now these strips to go on the side should be 4 1/8 of an inch. Sometimes I need to cut them a hair shorter. So what I'm doing with this one is, I've shown it many times I even have a separate video for it. It's a faux miter, and I stole the technique from Ford on YouTube. And actually ever since, it's my favorite way of doing these frames. Oh, I really need to clean my scissors. So you cut off, I will explain on the next one. It's just not properly in my system to film my decorating process. I do it sometimes, or small parts of it, in my paid tutorials, but hardly ever the whole process. Or if I do the whole process, it's more like process videos, because I do a lot of this when I have other people around that make noise, like my children or my husband or something like that. But also it takes me a very long time with making decisions and all that. Where's my other one? Or something like this happens. Oh, under my pencil. So it's just not properly in my system, so I intend to just do my thing, basically. So I line it up, top to bottom. Now this one is a hair long, so I might want to mark it a little bit where it needs to go. And then I mark with a pencil where my papers come together, both on top and on bottom. And then I get scissors, and then from that pencil mark I cut towards the outer cut edge, the outer corner. And on this side I start cutting at the corner towards the pencil mark. And then we can line it up there nicely. So I'm going to ink this up. But, so you might ask yourself, like, why are you filming your decorating now then? Well, my husband is out of town. He just left, actually. He literally just left. He's going to Adelaide for a few days for work. And I thought, you know what, I can just sit down and do this decorating now. Or I can film the construction of layer 2. But I can also just do this decorating. see if we can at least get some of the decorating for this project on camera. That would be nice, right? Okay, so we have the frame. I want to use that same wood grain over here, but I might want to add a little bit of that green or something there to break it up. We'll see. I'm going to start with inking up this little piece here. Now, oh, I already did that. Now gluing this in place, it's a little tricky. We have our score line that we can use, so we are not placing anything on that 1/8 inch gusset, right? We're gonna stay next to that. We aim for an even border on top and on bottom. And I really like to place it close to that score line here, because we have that gusset area. We have a little bit of more black showing there, so don't go over the score line, but I don't mind going a little closer to it. But it can be a little tricky to get it all in place and straight. So what I like to do is, this is a pretty flimsy piece, so I'm only going to put some glue on the top half of this strip. And now this is on the back to a 4x4 card, so the half of the strip is basically nicely marked for me. And then I can slide this without having to worry too much about the glue that is visible there. And then when I get to the part where there is glue, I can try to lift it up from the page slightly. And I'm going to bring it close to that score line. Try to even out the border. I have a little bit of wiggle time, but not too much. And then just pray somewhat that we did it right. Not too much glue showing there. And now, because this is pretty flimsy, I can just bend it over carefully and put some glue here. And if there is a small part where there is no glue, I'm not too worried about that. So I always get really messy fingers when I'm decorating, because I'm inking a lot of these small strips. That always makes it hard for you to hold your piece without getting ink on your fingers. But I'm also always removing all the excess glue with my fingers, so that's a really good combination for getting dirty hands. Okay, so I have this piece here. It's not really directional because these butterflies are going in all different ways, but I need to cut it up. So I'm going to measure from the fold line here up to my piece of pattern paper, which is now 3.5 inches for me. Let's check if that's the same on the bottom. Yes, so I want to have about 1/16 of an inch towards the fold and towards my piece of pattern paper. So if I cut it to 3 3/8 of an inch, I should be fine. I intend to cut it a small bit over the 3 3/8 of an inch, because I rather have a smaller gap than feel like, oh, this gap is a little bit too much for me. So not a complete 1/16 inch bigger, but just a tad. Okay, now let's see what we got. Yes, so I'm happy that I did that, because I might even was able to go a little bit bigger than that. But that's fine. Okay, so we can ink both of these pieces up. Just making sure that they connect, right? That we have them in the right order. Now they are different in size, so that should be fine. Now what I'm going to do for this piece is I'm going to get some 1/4 inch tape. I should be fine with placing glue later on, but just to make sure, I'm just doing a little bit of 1/4 inch tape around that bottom edge. Now we'll use that for the other one as well. I always burnish double-sided tape for a good stick. It sticks better when you apply pressure on it. And then again, that first half, approximately the first half, I'm going to put some wet glue. And then again, I'm going to slide it in from the top. When I can reach, I'm going to try to lift it up so it doesn't stick on me yet. Try to even everything out, line up the bottom edge with the bottom edge of the strip that we've already placed. Okay, and then again lift up this piece. Now that's a little bit more tricky because it's a little bit wider, but it's still perfectly possible. But I also did that little bit of double-sided tape, so I removed the tape backing and place it down. And I always burnish everything to smooth out the glue behind, right? I don't feel that it's really necessary, that 1/4 inch tape, but I'm still going to do it. Okay, so this one is gonna go on the other side there. And try to make it straight and line it up with the piece next to it. I could have gone a little closer to the folds because now the edge in between is a little bit more than I need it to be. But that's okay, that's not too bad. I'm just really, I'm seeing those sort of details, right? But is it a problem? No. So I think you're your worst own critic. And other people might not even notice it. If I don't point it out, you might not even notice it. Or you do, that's also fine. I don't mind if you do. Okay, and now I'm going to measure from the cut edge up to my pattern paper. And that is slightly more than 1 1/4. So again, I'm going to cut it a hair under, or actually a hair above 1 1/8 of an inch. The green pattern that we've also used right there. So slightly over 1 1/8 of an inch. Okay, let's see what we got. Yep, nice. Okay, so I angled that corner here on the top. This is the moment where I need to decide if I also want to do that on the bottom. I think I'm going to leave it straight. So I need to angle the top corner. And give it some ink. And I'm not going to do any tape. I'm just fine with just the glue here. Right, we have to be careful with the glue and we have to go over our attachment strip there. So I have a little less black space between my 2 pattern papers this time. More towards where I like it actually. So I like to have a little bit of a check. We can easily lift this up, right, to see if I didn't smoosh any glue somewhere where I might stick things down where I don't want it to stick down, or closed or something. Okay, so what I did in here, you see there's already a photo mat in there. For now, I cut a piece of cardstock, black cardstock, to 4 1/8 of an inch by 5 1/8 of an inch. And I did a 3 by 4 photo mat on here. So I can slide it in. Later on, if I have paper left, I can decorate the back or the background. I was thinking about, I don't know where I left them, but I punched out some circles to maybe make a little tab on here somewhere. And I have the bits and pieces like the butterfly, so I'm thinking maybe I want to add something on top of that that we can use. It's decorative, but we can also use to take out the photo mat if we want to. And maybe, you know, if I'm going to add pattern paper there, I just need to make sure that I have something left that works with it, and otherwise it's just going to be black, or I do a second photo mat there. Why don't you want to go in? Oh, there you go. But those are always things for me that I feel like I can do that later on, right? Because I don't have a necessary need for pattern paper there. So this is what we have right here now. So I could do simply this, and I was thinking about a photo mat there. Or you could even do a 3x4 and cut into your photo. Do the same thing that we do with our pattern paper, but then with a photo. You absolutely can do that. But you have to be absolutely sure when you do that, right? That you're cutting into your photo. And also remember that if you put pattern paper there and something here, an extra layer on both sides, is that that's going to influence how well this is going to lay flat. There's extra layers in that fold, so that's just something to think about. Now I have this, so I could place that green there, for example. I don't know, it's also depending on what I'm going to do there. I realize now that I'm looking in my camera. So for here, what is it that I want? Do I want to do full on pattern paper with photos that we can place on top? Or do I want to have a 6x4 here? But I feel because I already have an landscape element here, or like a vertical element here, I'm not sure if I'm going to like having a vertical layout here. Maybe we need to do something more in this case there, but let me cut a 6x4 photo mat. That can still go on full pattern paper, right? It doesn't mean that because I'm doing a 6x4 photo mat we cannot do pattern paper there, but like a 6x4 would fit perfect here. Or maybe like there, and then have pattern paper like that. And then what I could do is have a strip of the green, which I don't mind if that is going in a different direction, because we're using such a small bit of it that that's not really an issue for me. And we can add another butterfly there for decoration. So in that way we would save on having to put a full sheet of pattern paper there. We can actually use what we have here. However, I also want to use that here. So does that go? Not really. This could be a fourth pattern here. I just cut off a hair of that already, but so not this, and also not that. Something like that could work, right? Okay. So while I was going through these papers, what I was thinking, what I might be able to do is cut my piece off for here to 4 1/8 of an inch. And this is what I have left. That's not a whole lot, but let's say we have this over here. For some reason I just struggle with adding that fourth pattern. But do I want to do the butterflies here? I don't know. I think I can have that come back with one of the embellishments. So I'm looking at like how can I make it work. So this might be just one pattern too much. I feel like I almost always work with 3 patterns to the max, where I have 2 patterns and one solid or close to a solid. I'm just also not sure if this is the layout that we need to go for. Maybe we need to go for something with a horizontal photo. I think that breaks up the whole thing a little bit better. And it doesn't have to be like in the middle. It can be like this. It can also be that we do 2 different sizes, right? Where one can also be a journal spot. I would do a small black border around those photo mats. So when I close this, also this needs to work together. That's why I'm probably struggling with it. So if I would have that there. Maybe, I think this is where we need to go. So, say 2 inches. Let's say 2, then I have 4 left. If I do 2 inches. Yep, that would be fine. So 2 inches. Okay, so there is a little bit of bulk under here from the elements on the back page, right? So we need to keep that in mind. I'm going to keep it as flat as I can. Again, we have the score line there, so I'm going to place it a little bit away from the score line. Try to even out my border and get it straight. Okay, and then let's measure. What we need here is, that's 4 inches. So I'm going to cut it just a hair over 3 7/8. Does it matter? I don't think I can make that connect, right? No, so maybe just get it completely wrong. That's better. So I have a small hair, well, about a 3/8 inch strip left. Okay, there. Yes. Because I don't feel that it's going to do me anything to add that as well. No, I think this will be fine. Okay, so now on top of this page, we can basically do whatever we want to do, right, on photo opportunity. So I probably will just come back to that on a later stage. Maybe it's fun to do something that overlaps the 2 papers. Something like that. I think this looks pretty neat. You can also do 2 3x4s. Just add another one here. Why not? I can think about it. Let's worry about that one later. So for here, I have this. I have a little strip of green, but I don't think I want to add it here. I'm going to leave this as it is. And we will be adding either a photo on top of here, or maybe we have a nice card in the collection that we can play with, or some embellishments. Whatever we want to do. So in width, this needs to be, the first one needs to be 3 7/8. Let's see how that fits. Yep, and then this one, just under an inch, just under an inch. No, I cannot do that with my big, this piece is too small, cannot hold that properly. Yep. Yes, nice. Okay, so our base papers are on here. We can also do the inside here. We can do completely different papers here if we want to. We only have a really tiny bit here showing. So that could be something like this. And this is what we have so far. That's not too bad, is it? And then yeah, we can decorate this part, so I'm going to think about that. What do I want there? I'm not going to do the butterflies. It's going to be too much of the same thing. I like consistency, but there is also, or cohesiveness, but there is also something as just a little bit too much of the same going on. And I definitely don't want to have these butterflies. This is all fun, but for me, if I would place this here, where am I going to place my pictures, right? Because you don't want to cover that up and ruin that sentence. So that would be, I'm thinking about making a large acetate pocket, or like full size, page size pocket. Then we can place it behind there, something like that. Okay, I want to try this combination. So I have that paper that I started out with in the beginning that I cut off that ½ inch. Or we can use it right in this way. That's where I'm going for right now. Now what I also can do is cut off ½ inch from this one, place it on the edge here. So I would have ½ inch. This, and then more of that paper there. I don't know, maybe not. Okay, let's start with some cutting. So this is 4 1/8 of an inch, so I'm going to cut 4 inches. 4 inches. That works. I want to see it. I just need to see it. Other things go through my mind straight away. Okay, I've got ½ inch. Because what I'm thinking is the light background with the green might work better than the dark background. It's just a little bit, but it makes a huge difference. So I would have this, that piece of course, but this piece. I always need to see things. I cannot function in any different way. Fun. I'm just gonna go for it. Stop doubting yourself. Just stick it down. What's the worst thing that can happen? That I don't like it. That's the worst thing. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this strip down. My gusset is standing up, right? So I'm just gonna go close to the fold. And I was thinking like we could have done something like a tuck space, but actually because this is a fold on top of each other, maybe it's just fine to do something like this. And you also could have done something like this, right? Placing photos instead of pattern paper. These are the photo mats that I have prepared. So 4x4 would fit here, and you could do, oh sorry, I say 4x4, but I mean 3x4 would fit here perfectly. You could do two in the middle and have some pattern paper on top and bottom. That can also be done here, but you have to crop it. So now that I'm thinking, like if I would do 3x4 like this, but I don't think I like it. No. I'm just going to do my pattern paper like I planned to do. So this now is 3.5, so I need a little bit more than 3 3/8. So that can go there, and then this will go here. Okay, ink it up. So again, I could have gone a little bit bigger, but that's like the downfall of doing it this way. That's sometimes, you know, it's hard to get it exactly perfect. Sometimes I manage, but more often than not I don't. So that's just a matter of accepting, I guess. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I still like this better than just slapping one piece of pattern paper on one side and one piece of pattern paper on the other side. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you like, but I don't like that. So, you know, if some here and there the gap between my papers is a little bit bigger, you know, that's fine. Now the funny thing is, I did find my bone folder. Oh, right here. It was on the ground somewhere. And now I lost it again, but I've got it. Okay, so now we're gonna go a little bit to the tricky part of this one. Because I think I need to place this one down first. So I need to angle that corner there, and with this little piece, it's really hard to get that perfect. Where's my jumper? Right here. Angle. Yeah, okay, so that's too small. So I'm just going to line it up and make a little tick mark and cut it with my scissors. If I can still see my tick marks, that is there. Let's see. Good enough for me. Okay, so we want to line up this piece with the other papers, right? So often what I do is I find myself something that I can line up with the edge. So that helps me to line it up here as well. And it can be a little tricky to get it all, hold on to everything. Go along the edge. So you have a little bit more risk now of going off. So let's 1 7/8. 1 7/8. That's maybe a little hair difference, but it's fine. Also, these strips, it's easy to place them a little bended. I'm not sure how to pronounce, how to say that properly, but when they're not completely straight, it's easy to go wrong with that. So I said 1 7/8, so I'm going to cut it a little bit over 1 3/4, a piece of this, and I smudged ink on it. Yeah, I like how that is playful. And then again here, we can just place a photo. We could also do 3.5 by 5 sizes. I feel that that's actually my new favorite size, but it's not so easy to get them printed, right? Well, you can. You just need to have an app where you can place several photos in one photo. Like, I believe the one that I have is called PicFrame. I'm not sure, on my phone. And I just make a new image where I have 2 images in one. So I select 2 images and I place them on one photo. And then you have to print that on 7 by 5 size, or that's in inches, right? Or I believe it's 13 by, what is it, 13 by 9 centimeters. And then you cut up that photo you cut up, and then you have 2 that are 3.5 by 5. But yeah, you need to do a little bit of an extra step than just cutting a regular size photo or printing a regular size photo, right? But it can be done. So now I have to aim that the black edge is somewhat straight on both sides, and that I'm lined up on top and bottom. Okay, so my pattern paper is on, and we need something here, right? So like I said, we have so much options. What I want to keep in mind is that this is going to be like the front page. Oh wait, let's put this in. I can use this piece here for now. This is going to be the front page of our folio, right? This is going to be the first thing that we see. We have the acetate page over here, but we kind of see through that. Also depending on if you're going to place a photo on that acetate page, yes or no. So we want to make this something that is like, hey, what's happening there? It has to catch some interest. So I could do a photo here with some embellishments and some wording. That could be nice. I can also leave the picture out completely and only make like tags or photo mats to go behind here. And only decorate this. That's a very good option. So here we have the photo mat, but we can still place more behind the belly band as well. And like I said, I am thinking about making like a hidden paper clip. That's why I didn't do any magnets, to keep all of that in place, but also to keep this close, because especially now when we are placing layers on top of this is not going to stay nicely flat. See, it's coming up. Also here I didn't do any magnets. That's my personal choice. You can, I'm just going to leave it like that. Yeah, so that's the step that I have to take there. And then for the back of this page, I'm not going to do any decorating for now, because I'm going to create a page, the second layer, and I want those 2 layers to work together. And now it's going to get really tricky, because with a folio, the top of the second layer needs to work with this, but also when I open that up, you have another layer that needs to work with this. So that's always a little bit of the tricky part with cohesive decorating of a folio, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm going to figure out what I want to do with this part here, photo mats, and yeah, I might turn the camera back on to show you what I came up with. Okay, so the front of the page, I'm done with decorating. I've added my photo mats and my little embellishment, and I did put on my camera when I did so. However, my 4-year-old son was walking around and was very much distracting me. So that will be process video. That will go after this part. That's what will be in the video. So if you're interested in seeing how I put my embellishments and my photo mats down, then you can watch that part. That's, you know, like process video, a little bit speed up with some music to make it not too long. But I want to show you what I did quickly, and I was actually thinking about, like, I'm going to put it in the folio right now, but I'm not gonna do that. I want to wait until I'm done decorating with the back as well. So I will attach it into the folio once we've created layer 2 and I've decorated the front of layer 2 and the back of layer 1. So that but it's all up to you when you want to do stuff, right? So for now I have a paper clip here, and I think I said it before, right? But at the end, when I have my scrap pieces, so I'm saving all these small pieces so we can decorate some paper clips or make some hidden paper clips to keep like this closed, for example. So that's on there now with a butterfly that I want to use on the photo mat. So I've placed some, I had the bits and pieces and the floral bits and pieces, and the floral bits and pieces are without any color. They're like black and white, but I've added some color, and I show you that in the process video as well. So like right here I did that. So here I've added some of the bits and pieces together with one of the floral bits, a 3x3 photo mat. Here on the inside I was a lot in doubt of what I wanted to do here. I was thinking about creating a tuck spot, but that felt a little too fragile to me, so I made this into a 3x6 photo / journal opportunity, and then 2 smaller photos here. I might come back and add a little embellishment there, but for now I wasn't set on it. This also looks fine, so maybe I will come back to that later on when I'm done more of the decorating. And then on the inside here of the page, not much has happened here. So I placed some of the enamel dots here, and if I tried how much that is going to interfere with this element, but it's fine. So I'm going to make a little tab here. That's why I have the butterfly there, but I still have to figure out how exactly I want to do that. And then I have one full-size photo mat I did right here. So nothing too complicated, at least I feel it's nothing too complicated, but it's starting to look pretty good. I'm happy with it. So carefully I'm going to put this on now so it doesn't flap around, and I can use that to keep that in place as well. And then the next video we will be working on our second layer, which I hope, if everything turns out the way I have it in my mind, will be pretty fun as well. So I hope you'll join me there where we continue this folio. So thank you for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye!